Imagine being a 57-year-old retired NFL superstar worth millions of dollars, has 2 daughters and a son, works for ESPN, and you throw away your whole reputation because you wanted to go mess around with an OF model that is 30 years younger than you, bro.
Now the whole internet is watching Shannon Sharpe crumble in real time. And Stephen A. Smith, he's not pulling a single punch. He went on national TV, clowned Shannon in front of millions, and spilled tea on what really went down behind ESPN's closed doors. He even hinted that Shannon's career might already be sinking for good. And the wild part, Shannon's downfall might be all his own doing. This old clip of Stephen A. Smith talking about the Shannon Sharpe drama has been making its way around social media, and people can't stop watching. It's not just Stephen Sharpe's sarcasm that has everyone's attention. It's the way he made it crystal clear that he's not riding for Shannon. He flat out suggested that Shannon's career might never bounce back after getting tangled in some messy situations that left his reputation in pieces.
I'm not going to speak to one's innocence or one's guilt about something I have absolutely positively no knowledge of whatsoever. Do I believe that Shannon Sharpe is guilty of what he has been accused of? Absolutely not. That is my personal opinion. The brother that I've come to know, I don't believe would assault anybody. And I'm going to state that emphatically. But just as emphatically, I'm going to remind everybody it is my opinion because of what I feel about him. Not in any way implying that I know a damn thing beyond that.
The way Stephen spoke had fans side-eyeing hard, asking, is Stephen trying to sink Shannon on purpose? Did he already know about some cutthroat power moves going down inside ESPN that nobody else was talking about? Or is this all about jealousy? Well, the answers came fast, and what they revealed about Shannon Sharpe's situation had people shocked. For anyone keeping up, you already know Shannon went from being one of the most loved personalities in sports to one of the most mocked online, all after getting hit with multiple public scandals. But what most people didn't realize, after settling that explosive lawsuit filed by OnlyFans model Gabrielle, insiders say Shannon's bank account was drained, leaving him buried in debt. And guess who clocked this first? Stephen A. Smith. And when he figured it out, he didn't hold back one bit. He went live on air and spent nearly 20 minutes tearing into Shannon for letting himself get caught in such a mess. Sure, he tried to act like he was being fair, but fans noticed the smirk, the tone, like he was low-key enjoying every second of Shannon's humiliation.
ESPN and Disney have a wait-and-see attitude when it comes to whatever evidence they may learn about this entire situation involving Shannon Sharpe from a legal and from a civil perspective. What they didn't need as it pertains to those two things that I just mentioned, they didn't need any definitive evidence at this particular moment in time about all of that stuff. Once all the things Shannon Sharpe's lawyer put out there, it was uncomfortable to listen to, and it was not something that Walt Disney once associated with its brand. So to have him on the airwaves while all of that stuff was put out there was not something that Disney was going to take. That is what I mean when I say I am not surprised.
From the way he spoke, it almost felt like Stephen was gloating over Shannon's financial crash and ruined image. But here's where things get even crazier. Because just a few months before this, Shannon was on top of the world. After landing that explosive Cat Williams interview on his Club Shay Shay podcast, he hit record-breaking views on YouTube. On top of that, Front Office Sports reported in April 2025 that Shannon was in talks for a mind-blowing $100 million contract for the show, smashing records for athlete-run media. With that plus his ESPN checks and other deals, Shannon was basically running the sports media game. But just when it looked like he couldn't lose, the walls came crashing down. That high-profile lawsuit from the OF model hit, and from there, the empire started collapsing. Gabrielle Zuniga's lawsuit shook the internet, but here's the kicker. Stephen A. Smith apparently knew about it before the public did. So when he dropped those sly, shady comments about Shannon, he wasn't just talking for laughs. He was speaking from inside knowledge, and if you looked at the facts, anyone could see it. Shannon's time at ESPN was ticking down fast. But believe it or not, that wasn't even the wildest part. Gabrielle's first demand? A jaw-dropping $50 million. Shannon's reaction? He practically laughed in her face, calling it nothing more than a money shakedown. He even threatened to hit Gabrielle and her lawyer, Tony Busby, with his own lawsuits for extortion and defamation. At that point, Shannon looked unshakable, like he had this in the bag. Then, everything took a nasty turn. Disturbing audio recordings of Shannon and Gabrielle hit the internet.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public.
And they were ugly. Social media exploded when those clips dropped, and it's not hard to see why. In one, Shannon's voice could be heard making aggressive threats toward Gabrielle. In another, her tone shifts, sounding genuinely scared about what he might do next. People were left asking, what is even going on here? Once those recordings surfaced, Stephen A. Smith decided he was done biting his tongue. And when he spoke up, he didn't hold anything back. Here's the thing, Stephen and Shannon go way back. Stephen was actually the one who helped Shannon secure his Fox Sports gig, and for years they moved as both friends and colleagues. So naturally, fans thought Stephen would at least try to protect Shannon's image, or stay neutral until the dust settled. But nope. Stephen went live and shocked everybody, making it clear that Shannon might not be as innocent as he wanted the public to believe, and he didn't stop there. Stephen straight up blamed Shannon for his own downfall, saying he kept chasing reckless thrills that could only end in disaster for someone in his position. He even threw in a little flex, bragging that you would never catch him entertaining the kind of silly games Shannon couldn't seem to give up. Stephen didn't get into specifics, but the way he said it, everyone knew exactly what he was hinting at. Shannon's public history of being spotted with much younger white women had already raised eyebrows, but that was just scratching the surface. Things really turned up when word broke that Shannon had quietly agreed to settle Gabrielle Zuniga's lawsuit out of court. This after months of him loudly swearing he wouldn't give her a single dime. The exact payout? Still a mystery. But insiders whisper it was very close to Gabrielle's original $50 million demand. That hit wasn't just big, it was devastating. Not only did Shannon have to part with tens of millions, but he also got slammed with crushing legal fees. By the time it was over, his finances were bleeding. Then Gabrielle popped back up with a little announcement. She was officially retiring from OnlyFans after the settlement. She didn't mention the lawsuit, didn't talk about other alleged victims, didn't share some heartfelt healing journey post. Nothing. And while she's not obligated to explain herself, a lot of people felt she had gotten her payday and dipped. Her statement about being truly excited for her next chapter only fueled the whispers. Did she play Shannon from the start? And if she didn't, just how damaging was the evidence against him that he went from threatening to sue her to cutting a massive check in silence? But for Shannon, this was just the start of a total collapse. Because once that deal was done, the past came roaring back. And it wasn't pretty. Turns out Gabrielle wasn't the first woman to take legal action against him. Years ago, his ex, Michelle Evans, filed a similar lawsuit over alleged inappropriate behavior dating back a decade. And now, Michelle is back with a fresh lawsuit, this time accusing Shannon of defamation and demanding $16 million. The worst part? Word is Michelle has receipts, enough to bury him for good and drain whatever's left of his bank account. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, it did. Shannon went from being the guy, the sports media superstar everyone loved, to someone fans don't even want to see on their screens. His reputation flipped overnight from beloved to creepy, and people claim they warned him this would happen. Old interview clips from Club Shay Shay started resurfacing, and fans were dragging him in the comments for ignoring every red flag he was ever given. One viral moment came from his sit-down with Monique, where she looked him dead in the eye and told him that messing around with women young enough to be his daughters would end in disaster. She tried to keep it light, but she meant every word. And then came the other clip, the one from that now infamous Cat Williams interview. While Monique gave subtle warnings, Cat went straight for the throat. He told Shannon point blank that fame and popularity wouldn't save him. And if he didn't get his act together, he'd end up destroyed. Like Kang the Conqueror. Now fans are connecting the dots. They're convinced that Shannon's money troubles and fall from grace are directly tied to these scandals that just keep piling up year after year. TikTok has been eating it up, with creators posting breakdowns, receipts, and timelines of his downfall. And in the comments, people aren't holding back. Shannon, this could have all been avoided if you had just listened to Kat and Monique. They were right there, giving you free wisdom, and you ignored it. Now, the question everyone's asking is, could Shannon really have stopped all this before it blew up? Or was he doomed from the very start? Just when people thought the Shannon Sharpe saga couldn't get messier, another bombshell dropped, and this one had fans shaking their heads. Reports started swirling that Shannon wasn't just battling lawsuits, he was also fighting to keep his job at ESPN. According to insiders, network execs were quietly debating whether his public image had become too toxic to protect. Behind closed doors, they were allegedly weighing the damage of letting him go versus riding it out and hoping the headlines would fade. Spoiler, the headlines did not fade. In fact, the gossip only got worse when photos started popping up online of Shannon hitting exclusive Hollywood parties with his new inner circle, a group of flashy, high-profile friends known for stirring up their own controversies. Fans noticed the women by his side at these events looked eerily similar to the type Monique and Cat Williams had warned him about. It was like Shannon had heard the warnings and decided to double down instead of backing off. Then came the kicker, a leaked email thread allegedly from within ESPN's higher-ups. In it, unnamed executives discussed the Sharpe problem, suggesting his off-camera behavior was an ongoing liability and hinting that advertisers were starting to pull back. Whether the leak was real or not, it was enough to get social media buzzing with theories about how long Shannon had left in the game. Meanwhile, his legal troubles were snowballing. Michelle Evans' $16 million case was moving forward. Gabrielle Zuniga was making cryptic posts that kept her name in the spotlight. And now, whispers of a third potential lawsuit were beginning to surface. This one from another woman claiming past inappropriate conduct that could, if true, bury Shannon's public persona for good. Fans started posting timelines of every single scandal, lawsuit, and viral clip linked to Shannon, turning his career into a cautionary tale. YouTube channels and TikTok creators churned out breakdown videos titled things like The Rise and Fall of Shannon Sharpe and From Legend to Lawsuit Magnet. And every time Shannon tried to speak out or clap back, it seemed to only pour more gasoline on the fire. Then, out of nowhere, Stephen A. Smith popped back into the conversation, this time during his own show, where he made it clear that ESPN will not tolerate continued controversy from anyone, no matter how talented. He didn't say Shannon's name directly, but everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. The wildest part? Some fans started wondering if Stephen was playing chess while Shannon was still playing checkers, slowly distancing himself, planting seeds in the public's mind, and making sure that when the fall came, he'd be nowhere near the wreckage. And with the way things are spiraling, that fall might be closer than anyone thought. Because if Shannon loses his ESPN gig and takes another financial hit from these lawsuits, his entire empire could crumble overnight. The man who was once on top of the sports media world could find himself locked out of the very industry he helped dominate, all while the internet turns his downfall into entertainment. Now, the only question is, will Shannon finally listen to the warnings before it's too late? Or is he about to give the world one final catastrophic headline? Then, just when it felt like Shannon Sharpe's situation couldn't possibly sink any lower, the final blow landed. He got served with a termination email from ESPN. No public statement, no heartfelt farewell segment, no drama-filled send-off, just a cold, short message saying they were moving forward without him. For those who don't know, hosting First Take was by far Shannon's biggest paycheck. But after news broke that he'd settled Gabrielle Zuniga's lawsuit for that massive, jaw-dropping amount, ESPN's top brass decided the brand couldn't be tied to him anymore. They didn't even give him a chance to spin it his way. Insiders say Shannon was crushed, and not just because he lost a job. This was the job, the one that defined his second career. Losing it wasn't just about a paycheck, it was the ultimate public sign that Shannon Sharpe's credibility was gone. His reputation shattered, and the icing on the cake? His bank accounts were now bleeding red. But the humiliation didn't stop there. His podcast views tanked, sponsors ghosted him, merch launches got delayed indefinitely, and whispers started that Shannon was quietly trying to unload pieces of his real estate portfolio, including that Atlanta property he once flaunted all over Instagram. Fans could see it. The man was scrambling, throwing everything at the wall, hoping something might stick. Then the internet got another curveball. Stephen A. Smith unfollowed Shannon on Instagram. Just like that, the story shifted. This wasn't just about Shannon's scandals anymore. This was personal. Stephen wasn't even picking up Shannon's calls. And while Shannon's Club Shay Shay channel was still posting, the magic was gone. Ever since that Cat Williams interview, the numbers had been sliding downhill. Every new guest was compared to that viral peak, and none could match it. The audience wasn't watching for Shannon anymore. They were watching for the fall. One YouTube comment summed it up perfectly. This might be the biggest fumble in sports media history. Then, Shannon decided to address the rumors in a nightcap video.
Before we get started, obviously, I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week, and really the only thing that I really ask is, like, guys, could we wait until Monday? My brother's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really wanted to be about him, and I wanted to be about my family. I know this coming out would overshadow everything that he's worked his entire life for. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And so as I told him, as I profusely apologized to him earlier today, he said, bro, stop apologizing. You don't have to apologize. I'm your big bro. I'm going to love you regardless. We all make mistakes. And he says, bro, I love you. So I'm done with this. You done with it too. Move on. So, bro, again, I know you told me this. I don't have to apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I upstaged you in this match.
It blew up instantly, but the reaction? Brutal. Fans weren't impressed. Instead of taking ownership, Shannon deflected blame, and it was obvious in his tone. Comment after comment told him the same thing. Shannon, take accountability, look in the mirror, change how you moved, and stop letting these women play you. And just when the internet thought Stephen A. would stay out of it, he jumped right back in, posting a video where he flat out laughed in Shannon's face. It went viral across multiple platforms, not just because Stephen was publicly bashing him, but because they were supposed to be friends. People couldn't believe Stephen was leading the charge against him, but that made his message even louder. By the end of it, the picture was clear. Shannon used to be respected, the OG voice of reason in sports talk. Now, he's the punchline, the man who fumbled the bag, got roasted by his own industry brother, and has no clear next move. And Stephen, still standing tall, still running his shows, still dominating the airwaves. Stephen didn't have to destroy Shannon Sharpe. He just stepped back and let Shannon do it to himself. And if you think this is the end of the story, oh, it's not. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and stay locked in, because the next chapter in this wild saga is coming, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. See you in the next one.